It has been a while since the last laptop showcase, huh? My mid-2005 iBook G4. This is one of the last iBooks Apple made for the 2005 model year, with a 1.42 GHz PowerPC G4 CPU, 512MB of RAM soldered in plus a 1GB RAM stick, and a 60GB IDE hard drive. This iBook represents the very last of the PowerPC laptop breed. I found this iBook in immaculate cosmetic condition, not a hint of yellowing on the chassis and just a faint yellowing on the keyboard. That startup sound will never get old. As someone who has started to recently get seriously into macOS, I'm pretty excited to have this one laptop in my collection. Although, this is the original IDE hard drive, so it takes well over a minute to boot, including the classic environment. Not a great first start. What I can tell does really work though, is the original slot loading drive. If you know me, I tend to prefer tray loaders because I can at least manually eject them without power, but this one works reliably and smoothly. I've tested CDs, DVDs, burned CDs, a CDRW, and they all work just fine on the iBook G4. Now you may not have heard it because I was speaking there in post, but the disk drive does make a couple unsettling sounds, so it may be due for a replacement, but right now it's working flawlessly. And it looks like I forgot to set up iTunes, so I'll just do that real quick, and there we go. It's reading from the CD now. iTunes also includes visualizers. This is the default one. And even on the better performance mode, the G4 is really struggling to render it at a smooth or consistent 30 frames per second. There is also the classic visualizer too, which seems less CPU intensive, and it takes it a bit to actually get warmed up, so to speak. You can even close the iTunes window and have it just play in the background, if you wanted that. Unlike the other laptops I showcased, I am unable to load YouTube. I've tested with Safari, Firefox, and Aquafox, a fork specifically made for PowerPCs. As you can see though, I have hooked up the G4 to the ProtoWeb proxy, so we can replicate an authentic mid-2000s internet experience in 2025. So let's go on to WarpStream, and since I don't actually have a channel here, I'll just select the 8-Bit Guy's channel and grab one of his older videos to test streaming video playback. I'm setting the G4 to better performance mode so I can give it the fairest shot possible. Nice and smooth. And I forgot that pressing full screen in Safari actually opens a separate full screen window. So how's the playback there? It looks a little bit stuttery, but it's not terrible. I can live with this if I had to. Let's get to the fun stuff, the games. This one I genuinely forgot existed, and when I saw it again, I had a massive childhood flashback. Hoyo, puzzle, and board games. This is the 2011 version. As you can see, there was a lot of games. One of my favorites back in the day was Maze Raiders. Oops, looks like I had the last set to the Haunted House version, so let's switch over to the Greek version, since it's not October yet. And play. The objective here is simple. Walk around the maze, avoid the Greek mythology monsters, and collect all the gold. But we didn't come here just for games. Let's move on to something else. You probably noticed I have 3 image files mounted. That's because I wanted to showcase the classic environment to y'all. For those who don't know, later revisions of the iBook G4 cannot run macOS 9 natively. But Apple provided the classic environment as a stopgap measure until apps could be properly ported over. The classic environment takes advantage of pre-existing macOS 9 system files and essentially runs the 2 operating systems on top of each other. It's less like dual booting Windows and more like just somehow having 2 operating systems simultaneously running at the same time. It's kinda confusing, but all you need to know is that it works and you can play all your vintage macOS games on macOS 10.4 Tiger. And there we go. After 3 years, I finally did a laptop showcase, and it's on a laptop that I've been dreaming of owning for a while now. The 14-inch iBook G4, ladies and gentlemen. I am really glad to have this in my collection. Definitely takes up less space than my PowerMac G4 Tower.